This is breaking news.
Whitney Houston's voice lives on, with Symphony in Tow, at upcoming concert. Whitney Houston's fame spanned the world, but her career took root singing gospel at the New Hope Baptist Church in Newark. The latest chapter in the late singer's legacy will be a concert that melds her legendary vocals with a live orchestra at the Town Hall in Manhattan Saturday night, a venue where she made her professional debut at the age of 13 with the band, led by her mother, Cissy Houston. The Voice of Whitney, a symphonic celebration, will feature recordings of the vocals that earned Houston the nickname The Voice, as well as excerpts from her concerts and interviews where she talks about her life and songs. C. Mays, conductor and music director of the Pops of Color Symphonic Orchestra, said, "The premise of it really is that it feels like you are, oddly enough, in the room with Whitney. We get led through this really beautiful tapestry of just a whole evening where it feels like Whitney is kind of holding you in the palm of her hand," May said. From an early age, Houston was singing in the New Hope Choir, following the path of her mother, who began her career with her family in the gospel group, the Drinkards Singers. "Her talent came from the Drinkards," said Pat Houston, Whitney's sister-in-law and executor of the estate of Whitney E. Houston. "And they were all reared in Newark. She had a great love for New Jersey, and her early performances were there with her mother." On February 15, 1978, Whitney Houston stepped to the front of the Town Hall stage as part of her mother's concert and did a solo performance of Tomorrow from the musical Annie. In an interview with Oprah Winfrey, Houston said, "I will never forget, I walked out to the front, and I began to sing, and the whole audience rushed to the stage. It was that moment that my mother said, 'God has smiled on you, and this is what you're supposed to do.'" 2 years later, in 1980, she became a successful model, and in 1985 released her bombshell eponymous debut album. Her first 2 albums reached the #1 spot on the Billboard charts, and she had 7 consecutive No. 1 singles. From there, her career continued to rise, and she expanded into acting and producing, touring to huge crowds around the world until her death in 2012 at 48. "Whitney's voice is a monument to the glorious traditions of American music," said Pat Houston. "And she mastered it, she transformed it, and she redefined it." By isolating Houston's vocals and placing them within different symphonic arrangements, it gives you this new, fresh ability to listen to these songs with new ears, May said. The evening pulls from Houston's entire canon, her heartbreak ballads, her danceable pop hits, her gospel singing, even her iconic performance of The Star-Spangled Banner. "Just even hearing the full string section on all of these tunes that we know so well," May said. "It gives it a breadth that you don't get when you listen to strings on a recording that have come out of a studio. It really envelops you in a very specific way. When you listen to some of these songs, like I Will Always Love You," May said, "which every one of us has heard our entire lives. Hearing the nuance of the phrasing, hearing the breath that she takes between, and just the utter control, and that maximum presence that she always had vocally, it's really unmatched." The concert is also the premiere of The Colors of Pops, the first pop symphony composed solely of musicians of color, and whose goal is to bring the music of artists of color into the Pops format. Leading up to the Houston concert, members of the ensemble will do presentations about Houston and careers in the arts to students in several public schools in New York and New Jersey, including the East Orange Elementary School that the late singer attended and is now named for her. In addition to the draw of her singular voice, Houston continues to have a spiritual connection with audiences. Her fans, Pat Houston said, absolutely love her, and they prove it every day when I look at the posts that they put up. Not only on her birthday or any special occasion. It's every day. It's really incredible.